Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I am so sorry I haven't been uploading, but I have a really good excuse. I'm at BLIZZCON, really excited to be here. I'm here until Monday morning, and I'll get back to the regular uploads. But guys, I hope you enjoyed all of the BLIZZCON events this weekend. Vanilla servers were announced, so excited about that, and the new expansion was announced as well. But let's hop into some gameplay.
Alright guys, so hopping into these games, we have a Resto Druid, an Arcane Mage. Makes me so happy to see the Arcane Mage, a Windwalker Monk versus a Demon Hunter, a Marksman Hunter, and a Resto Shaman. Panda Global versus ABC. Two things first though, guys. One, I haven't watched these games yet actually because I was streaming. I was actually live streaming during the BlizzCon finals. This is gonna be the first time I actually get to see these games, so I'm actually really excited to see what actually happened in these games. And then two, I'm a little bit sick. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but bear with me as I'm getting through this BlizzCon plague. I'm feeling pretty awful, but need to get these YouTube videos out for you guys. So here we are hopping into it. First game, guys, as we have always seen, is on the Grand Arena. So the first map is always in the Grand Arena, then the losing team gets to pick the map after that. The gates are opening now, and I have played a lot of Arcane Windwalker in the past. By the way, Alex Mount is pretty freaking awesome. I love that Cloud Serpent. But anyway, as these gates open, we want to see the Windwalker Arcane Mage either doing setups or either kind of just playing back and dampening. We don't want to see them playing too offensive outside of the opener. So here's the opener. Here's where the double leg sweeps coming out, the double Fist of Fury, the Mark of a Lunate, the Arcane Power. This is a lot of the offensive cooldowns coming out from Alec. Here in the opener, you can use things like Mass Invisibility, a lot of his offensive cooldowns, but quickly look, he's playing back with his Resto Druid. I really want you guys to note the positioning of Alec. He's not pushing into the Shaman very much, right? If he does that, it's not going to go very well for him. But Rubcup is playing very offensive, pushing into the enemy team, which I absolutely love. And what he's doing is actually just spam purging to keep his team offensive and to keep the Windwalker Arcane Mage on the back foot. Right there, though, Jellybeans does dip very low, has to trinket the stun, and barely does survive. It looks like he's going to be okay for now. So a full trap comes out onto Azgroth. Rubcup's mana, though, looking very low already from the spam purges he has been putting out onto the enemy team. Now the leg sweep comes out onto Rosita Jones, but Alec is forced into that early ice block anyway. So nice peels there from Nixie, but having that ice block used in the first minute or so of this game is very bad here for ABC. The thing is, though, Rubcup's mana is very low. They're playing like a ticking time bomb. If they're playing this offensive, they're not going to be able to play this offensive for very long, right? He's going to go out of mana. They're going to run out of offensive cooldowns, and from there, it's pretty much going to be GG. ABC is going to be able to just outlast and live. The problem is, if Alec already uses Ice Block this early, now he's going to have to play extremely passive, which means no going in too far for Sheeps. No going in too far for these offensive pushes, and more just playing back with his Resto Druid if he wants to survive. So here, incredible mass invis by Alec. Azgroth was about to be trapped. Alec does his mass invis, so the healer couldn't be trapped, or at least the hunter couldn't see the Resto Druid for that trap. Alec's playing brilliantly behind the pillar. So look at the mage's positioning here, guys. He's line of sighting the hunter as much as he can. As soon as the hunter comes into line, he's going to continue to blink, follow his Resto Druid behind the pillars, and continue to line of sight the hunter. This is the name of the game for Alec if he wants to survive. Beautiful blink behind line of sight with that displacement when Azgroth goes into that full trap. Continuing to just play to live, and that's going to be the name of the game for ABC if they want to win. The problem with Panda Global strategy is now Rubcup is pretty much out of mana, and they're out of offensive cooldowns for the time being. So it's like they just used their all in. They got the ice block and they got a lot of things, but now it's pretty much over for a while. As long as they can recover and kind of stay in the game, that's okay. But now, you know, they don't have that type of offensive push that they had at the start of the match. Here, Alec does get stunned up by Rosita Jones using that Temp Shield, lining with his Resto Druid again. Beautiful cap stun there by Rubcup, getting pretty much the entire enemy team of ABC. ABC has no trinkets, but Jellybeans taking so much damage and is forced into his turtle defensive cooldown, trying to get some more damage out onto Alec. But once again, guys, now that Alec has no block, he knows all he has to do is survive. He's the kill target. Nixie still has Karma, still has Wall. Nixie's not going to die, so as long as Alec just keeps playing well defensively, that's all it's going to really come down to. Alec pushes in a little bit here, but he has the displacement back out. So if he needs to get back out, he can always blink back and displace to the pillar. So look at this. As soon as he starts getting a little bit scared, pushes in a little bit too much, his healer goes into a trap. Here's where he's running like 40 yards from everyone else, spamming sheep on Rosita Jones, not even sheeping the shaman. That's something else I wanted to mention. He's not pushing in to go for sheeps onto Rubcub, right? That would put him in a position to die, and they already know they don't need that. The triple stun coming out from Rosita Jones, beautiful triple Chaos Nova, a double bursting shot, but Alec doing his best with that temp shield, with the mass invisibility, with the blinks, with the line of sight, staying with his Resto Druid. Very, very surprising that he didn't go down right there. 30% life. Is he going to stay alive? Jellybeans just can't get a grasp on him, though. Every time Jellybeans gets something, Alec just peeks, back out of line of sight. Jellybeans can't really get the pressure going. Now, Alec comes out a little bit, feeling a little bit more comfortable. Rubcub completely tapped on mana, but Asgaroth at about 10% mana as well. Alec's Ice Block cooldown comes up in about 30 seconds. Rubcub actually here now getting a sip of drink, and so that's really, really valuable for the team of Panda Global. If Rubcub can get a little bit more mana and then start purging a little bit more offensively, that's how Panda Global is going to turn around in this game. Alec, though, has another Ice Block in about 15 seconds, so he's just kind of turtling and waiting until then. Pops that Temp Shield. The Iron Bark also comes out. So this Iron Bark is pretty much going to seal the deal for Alec to live until that next Ice Block. That Temp Shield topping Alec back off to full HP. Rosita Jones now taking a little bit of heat. Damage coming out onto Asgaroth with that Chaos Nova, but Rosita Jones quickly just turning back around. They're kind of giving up on Alec now. They haven't gotten any defensive cooldowns from them in many minutes now. So they're kind of like, all right, should we hit Nixie? Jellybeans and Rosita Jones are kind of like, we can't touch this Arcane Mage. And since the pressure is coming off of the Arcane Mage, now look at Alec's positioning. He's pushing back in a little bit more. I love this. He's pushing back in because Jellybeans and Rosita Jones are letting up pressure. Now they're hitting the Druid and the Monk a little bit more, which allows the Mage to really push in, spam out those polymorphs, spam out that damage. Now the Fist of Fury comes out on the Jellybeans, the Sheep comes out on the Rosita Jones, so Jellybeans does seem like the primary kill target here, but Rubcub does pop his Ascendance healing cooldown. It's really going to top his entire team off for now. So Panda Global should be okay as long as that Ascendance is up. Jellybeans has a turtle back up. He doesn't have his heal anymore available, though. Now they're pushing into Alec. Now Alec has that Temp Shield, beautiful imprisoned by Rosita Jones, immuning that Temp Shield heal, but Alec does have another Ice Block available now. Asgaroth goes into that full trap. He does trinket it immediately to keep his mage as offensive as possible. Now Alec sitting at about half HP, and Asgaroth completely tapped on mana. So now since they're back onto Alec, this positioning goes very defensive once again. And like, that's how you play Windwalker Arcane, guys. They're playing it perfectly. They're not pushing in. They're not trying to get too many setups. They're playing not to lose, right? And with Windwalker Arcane, that's kind of the name of the game. The setups will happen with the paralyzes from the Monk, the leg sweeps and the Fist of Fury from the Monk. As long as the Mage plays well defensively, plays well, positionally, he's going to eventually open up. The Windwalker's going to eventually open up an opportunity to get a kill on the enemy team. So Alec's doing exactly what he needs to do here in this game. Now Asgaroth, though, and Rubcub, both very low on mana still, so I'm very surprised this game isn't over yet. It will probably be over pretty soon here at 13% dampening now, so heals are reduced by that amount. The clones coming out from Asgaroth are beautiful here, kind of stalling out the game a little bit longer. As long as you can keep the clones, like clones are very valuable in dampening, right? Because healing does less, which means the effectiveness of clones is increased because it's stopping that damage from coming in, which means it's less you have to heal. Now Asgaroth doing a very good job of keeping his team alive right here, but he's about 40% into that Imprison. Do they have anything off? It doesn't look like it quite yet. The bash coming out on the Rubcub. Jellybean's now getting very low. Rubcub getting very low. His whole team goes very low, but that Spirit Link does come out. Asgaroth now is camping that bear form, trying to top himself back up. The entire team of Panda Global is now about 50% life, and Ascendance is not available for Rubcub just yet to top his team back off. Almost no defensive cooldowns available. The heal isn't available. The deterrence isn't available. The Spirit Link and the wall aren't available. Rubcub is pulling a miracle, just keeping his team alive right here in 18% dampening in this first match. Rosita Jones now getting very, very low. He still does have wall. It looks like he does get kicked. He's 1% life. How is Rosita Jones alive right now? Barely keeping himself alive with that leech, popping some offensive cooldowns as well, trying to turn that pressure around onto Nixie. Nixie does pop that Karma, though, and that Karma is going to provide a little bit of counter pressure. That Imprison comes out on the Karma. Love that Imprison. Now Rubcub's Rubcub's entire team is under half now, 30-40%. Nixie does pop that wall. Nixie about 20% life. Asgaroth completely out of mana as well. Rubcub 1% life. Looks like he's gonna go down, and he finally does. Rubcub goes down. Nixie's not out of the woods yet though, still has that wall. It's about to fade, about 1% life as well, but the entire enemy team does fall. Wow, and what an incredible game one. ABC barely takes it at about 20% dampening. I'm really impressed by the defensive play from Alec and the offensive plays coming out from Nixie. And Panda Global had a strong start with the offensive purges from Rubcub, getting that initial ice block. I think if Rubcub could set up a Drink, or if Jelly Beans and Rosita Jones could just set up that kill a little bit better onto the mage, I think they could take this game. I don't think it's incredibly one-sided, just judging from that first match, but let's hop into it in game 2 on Dalaran Sewers. I like this map pick. It's a smaller map. That means Alec has less room to kite. He's going to have to play near the boxes if he wants to line of sight the Hunter, but since it's a much smaller map, he's not going to have a room to run around like he did on the other map, right? On the Grand Arena. Alec getting very low. He's already used Mess Invisibility. He's already used Temp Shield. Does get interrupted there. And keep in mind, Arcane only has that one Arcane tree, so any interrupt definitely does hurt. He keeps getting interrupted here, which is a little unfortunate. Asgaroth going into some CC. Alec doing a beautiful job of just kiting. The thing about Alec's positioning is he can port back to his Druid if he needs to, just like we saw right there. He just ports back across the map, and now he's back in line of sight of the Druid, but he's ranging Rosita Jones and lining Jelly Beans, right? He does get kicked here, and now the team of ABC can either go for these setups of the Paralyze, the leg sweeps, the Fist of Fury, stuff like that, or they can continue to run and play it like they did last game. Either style is really going to work, but here's the offensive cooldowns of Rosita Jones. A beautiful Temp Shield by Alec. He does get topped off and imprisoned there on that Temp Shield, so beautiful imprisoned by Rosita Jones, but Asgaroth does a great job of topping Alec before that even matters. Alec still has some offensive cooldowns available. He might use them right here, the double triple stun coming onto Rubcub Jelly Beans. Alec getting very low though. Does he need the ice block? Alec does use Arcane Power to try to turn that pressure around a little bit, throwing that sheep though onto Rosita Jones. So a lot of people might be like, oh, Alec wasted his offensive cooldowns. I don't think that at all. He tried to go offensive, he couldn't really, and now he's going back to just running and living, and that's the name of the game as an Arcane Mage, guys. This is absolutely fine. Using that Arcane Power during that double stun, trying to get some pressure out just to get a little bit more DPS is totally fine. I do not blame him in the least bit. And just sheeping Rosita Jones, running from the Hunter is really the name of the game here, right? The Temp Shield does pop Alec back to full life. He still has that ice block available, and they're just doing a big circular motion around the map with the Arcane Mage's defensive cooldowns, and that's exactly what we want to see here. Now the leg sweep coming out, the big leg sweep onto Rubcub, doesn't look like much is going to happen from it, but the polymorph comes out on the Rubcub, so this is something that you don't see very often. Arcane Mage pushing in, getting the polymorphs onto the healer, but when it does happen, obviously it's great, right? When you can get the free sheeps onto the enemy healer, then that's when you can kind of turn around the pressure. However, like I was saying before, if you're focusing too much on this as an Arcane Mage, you're going to put yourself in a really bad position and you're just going to die. Now, Asgaroth going into the CC, I love this from Alec. His Druid's in CC. He's running max range. His Druid's in a full trap. There's no reason to be back in line of his Druid. He runs as far as he can and then displaces back to his Druid as soon as the CC is over. This is beautiful defensive play here by Alec. Instead of just kind of hanging out by his Druid, the whole time his Druid is in CC with no trinket, he runs across the map, baiting the Demon Hunter, Rosita Jones, to follow him, and then displaces all the way back. That was an absolutely wonderful play here by Alec. Super impressed. Now, the Arcane Power comes back and Rubcub goes down. We're going to actually rewind. I was looking at more of the defensive play when this offensive kill happened. So, just for the setup, guys, Rubcub's in the polymorph. Alec popped his Arcane Power. The bash comes out. The full Arcane Missiles. This is what's really doing it. The Serenity. Okay, guys, the Touch of Death. The Arcane Power, the full bash, the Arcane Missiles after Arcane Missiles. All of it lands on Rubcub at the same time, and that half leg sweep into the Fist of Fury, and Rubcub goes down. Beautifully executed kill out of a sheep. So they set up with the sheep, get him maybe with no Earth Shield, okay, into a triple stun with every single offensive cooldown. And since Rubcub is playing Relentless, he doesn't have a trinket to get that link. He was probably mashing his link button, but doesn't have time and does go down. Guys, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this 2-part series where we get a deeper look into BlizzCon Finals, ABC versus Panda Global. Make sure to thumbs video up, guys, if you enjoyed it, and thumbs it down if you didn't. Tomorrow I will be releasing the other half of these games and kind of walking you guys through them as I see them. And guys, leave down in the comments below what series or games you guys want me to commentate from BlizzCon. I will be looking at any of the games you guys want me to see, so just leave it down below in the comments and I will be reading it. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.